Everyone. We're so glad that you can join us this evening. We have a couple hundred folks who have registered to be here with us this evening, and we're so excited to get started. By way of introduction, my name is Sarah Wajda. I'm Director of Development for Honors Carolina, a role in which I meet with alumni and supporters to engage them in the incredible work that we have going on here with our students and faculty. A pretty great job, honestly. I'm thrilled to be working alongside Ann Collins at the UNC College of Arts and Sciences and supporting Jim Laludis, Associate Dean for Honors Carolina, and our Honors Carolina students and faculty. So welcome. Tonight is an Honors Carolina Student Spotlight, a virtual event for our parents and families, where we'll feature 4 students, and in their own words, they will give you insight into their own Honors Carolina experience to give you a preview of the many opportunities we have available here in our honors program. Before we begin, let me just cover a few quick housekeeping details. We are recording today's session, and we will make it available to all those who weren't able to join us tonight and to those who are interested in seeing it again. As an attendee, you are muted, and you will not appear on the screen. This allows everyone to be able to see clearly our guest speakers and panelists. Today's program will include a question and answer session at the end. You can submit your questions to our speakers and our panelists using the QA feature in the bottom, located beneath the video screen. You can submit questions anonymously, or you can submit them as you are. Questions will be saved until the end of the program, and we will select what questions that we answer live. That covers all the technical parts of our session, and I now would like to introduce you to Jim Laludis, Peter T. Grauer, Associate Dean for Honors Carolina, Director of the James M. Johnston Center for Undergraduate Excellence and Professor of History. Dean Laludis provides overall leadership for Honors Carolina and the Johnston Center for Undergraduate Excellence. He is an award-winning professor of history whose teaching and research focus on late 19th and 20th century America. Jim, thank you so much for being here today.
Great, thanks, Sarah. And good evening, everyone. And let me say again, welcome. It's really wonderful to be with you this evening, if only virtually for now. You've met Sarah. She will serve as our Master of Ceremonies this evening, but I also want to introduce 2 other members of our team who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to pull the arrangements for this event together. They're Aspen Fulcher, our Director of Student Development and Co-Curricular Programming, and Jake West, our Assistant Director for Communications and Development. This is the second installment in what in the future will be a regular schedule of events for parents and families. One event offered in person in the fall semester and the other offered virtually in the spring. We've created this programming as a means of strengthening our relationship with you. We want to keep you informed about all of the resources and opportunities available to your students through Honors Carolina, from our study abroad programs that literally ring the globe to personalized academic advising and award-winning career coaching, and a community of more than 4,000 Honors Carolina alumni who have signed up on our Go Anywhere digital platform to mentor students and to offer hundreds of internship and job opportunities. And of course, let's not forget our Honors Carolina seminars, more than 200 of them offered each year by our university's world-class faculty in all the disciplines at the College of Arts and Sciences, and also in the Keenan Flagler Business School, the Gilling School of Global Public Health, and the Hussman School of Journalism and Media. Last year, we sent out a survey to ask parents and families what type of events they'd most like for us to offer. And by a wide margin, one answer came out on top. Give us a taste of what it's like to be a part of Honors Carolina. Well, we listened, and tonight we have 4 outstanding students who have eagerly volunteered to share with you a bit of their Honors Carolina experience. So again, welcome. It's wonderful to have you with us here tonight. And Sarah, I'll hand it back to you to introduce our student guests.
Thanks so much, Jim. I appreciate it. Our first student, we have Hannah. And Hannah, I'm so happy that you're here today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to hearing more about your experience.
Alrighty, thank you so much. Hey everyone, my name's Hannah, and I'm a senior in the honors program. A little background about me is I'm from Hershey, Pennsylvania. So growing up near Chocolate World made me really interested in how our environment will impact our food choices, behavior, and health. So when I got to UNC, I decided to study public health and nutrition on the pre-med track. So I'm in the Gilling School of Global Public Health, and I'm also in Honors Carolina. And I would say that by far the most impactful opportunity I've had in my 4 years here, besides rushing Franklin after we beat Duke in the Final Four my freshman year, would be designing and teaching my own course through the Honors Carolina C-START program. So this was a program I did not know existed until the spring of my junior year, right around when the applications were due. So I wanted to share it with you. So, your children can know about these really cool classes, to take them or even to teach one and create one of their own. So for a quick overview, C-START stands for Carolina Students Taking Academic Responsibility Through Teaching. So in the spring of your junior year, you will identify a faculty mentor, submit a course proposal to the honors program, and if that's approved, the fall of the next year, you will spend the semester drafting a syllabus, creating lesson plans, and then in the spring, you will teach that course for 2 hours once weekly to a small group of students. When I first applied to the C-START program, I thought the application itself and, grading every assignment would be the really difficult part. But then I actually realized the real challenge is being curious and creative enough to notice a gap in UNC's curriculum, form a really strong relationship with a faculty mentor who will sponsor your course, and obviously dedicating an entire year to preparing materials and actually teaching other students about a subject you're passionate about. This is not the same as TAing a class. I get that a lot. People think I'm a TA. Um, I have done that in the past and it was really rewarding, but in this case, the CSART program, I actually just created a course from scratch. So you build that course from the ground up, you make the syllabus, you plan 14 weeks of lessons, you design assignments, you can design a final project, and then for 2 hours every week, I actually just finished up my last class at 7 p.m. today. You will facilitate learning for 2 hours. It's definitely a lot of work, but it was super, super fun and very rewarding. So my course this year is called You Are What You Eat, Exploration of Molecular Gastronomy. It's a food chemistry class that teaches students how flavor works, how cookies bake, how science can make a perfect cup of coffee, and much more. It combines chemistry, biology, human nutrition, and culinary techniques to explain something that we all do, which is eat and enjoy food. Beyond just combining my interests in nutrition, health, teaching, and science, this course was able to address a bigger issue at the university level. I personally noticed that none of my friends would step foot near a STEM class if it wasn't required for their major or for their goals beyond college, which I totally understand. These courses definitely feel designed to weed you out. Um, so with the C-START, my goal was to bridge that gap between STEM topics and non-STEM students and make those topics more accessible and kind of teach everyone that you can love science and you're not bad at it. You know, food is something that we all connect with, and it seemed like a really great way to introduce scientific concepts in a fun and approachable way. And through this class, I was able to take topics I had learned about in my 101 classes all the way up to the graduate level courses in my nutrition degree, and teach that to students who maybe had never taken a science course at the university level. So this past semester, my class had 11 students, and I learned probably more from them than they learned from me. It was a really great experience to sharpen my teaching and public speaking skills, something that I think will be very important as I go on with my future. But more importantly, I have been able to connect with people from all different backgrounds. My class was extremely diverse, students from North Carolina, students from all over the country, international students, philosophy majors, journalism majors, some nutrition majors, some business students, really everyone. And the majority of them had never taken a science course at UNC before. And then another great reason to I have been able to talk about C-START in so many job interviews, and I received a lot of feedback from people at the NIH, which is where I'm working next year, that my experience teaching this course helped me stand out in a lot of the interviews and in the application process. So that's definitely a benefit as well. I personally wish I had known about C-Start earlier so that I could have taken more of the unique classes. But now my class is over, but I did really look forward to every Thursday to be able to talk about my favorite topics for 2 hours with students who are really passionate about the same things as me. And it was really great to have the really fun demos. We made ice cream one class, and we actually had the president of Carborough Coffee Roasters, Scott Connery, come in and do a coffee tasting demo to teach us how to identify coffee flavors and what we really like. So if you know anyone who's curious, passionate, and really eager to share knowledge, I highly encourage they explore the C-Start program, which is only possible through Honors Carolina. It was one of the most, if not the most rewarding experiences I've had at UNC, and it's something I will carry with me for the rest of my life.
Anna, thank you so much. We so very appreciate you sharing your story and your experience with us. It is clear that C-Start provided you the tools and the experience necessary to prepare you for your career and your life after Carolina. So thank you so much for sharing that with us today. Hannah, thank you. Again, if y'all have folks for Hannah, please feel free to put some questions in the Q&A and she will answer them for us later. All right. So now I would love to introduce you to our next student. We have Darby, and Darby is here to speak with you today. And Darby, let's get you, if you could come on camera, then we'll get you going. All right. Thanks so much, Darby. I really
Hi, my name is Darby McBride. I'm an honors student undergraduate at UNC studying community and global health with a double major that is self-designed in human rights with a minor in public policy. Today, I will be speaking about Honors Carolina Study Abroad and the incredible opportunities of this program. The common phrase, "come here, go anywhere," is best exemplified in UNC Honors Abroad. You do not have to wait to explore the world until you graduate. Honors is here to support you in this endeavor. For instance, as long as I can remember, I have wanted to go to Rwanda. Now, through a fully funded honors scholarship called the Birch Fellowship, I will spend 6 weeks in Kigali, Rwanda, as an intern at an art and cultural promotion center working with local Rwandan women to digitize their art to reach a wider audience. Before getting into this specific passion project, allow me to discuss honors abroad more generally from a student perspective. Okay, beginning with the semester honors abroad. The incredible thing about an honors semester abroad is that each student has an internship during the semester that relates to your area of study or interest. Currently, I have a friend who is in honors UNC London who has an internship working for the World Health Organization. In quoting his WhatsApp messages, he says this is the best experience of his life. The beauty of honors abroad is attaining an experiential learning by traveling, and this experience is curated to your area of study. You get to add to your resume while having the opportunity to explore a new side of the globe. If studying for a whole semester abroad doesn't work for your major or minor, there are some other options as well. There are summer study abroad faculty-led courses where you can travel to a specific location and take a UNC course. For instance, some of the classes for this summer include the Birch Seminar in Thailand, which is focused on public health innovation, or the Birch Seminar in Manchester focused on sports entrepreneurship. Last summer, I participated in the Birch Seminar in The Hague and Balkans, focusing on human rights and international justice mechanisms. I spent 4 weeks traveling from the Netherlands to Belgium to Bosnia into Croatia. The first 2 weeks were in the Netherlands, studying international justice mechanisms and learning about legal processes to try war crimes. Then the latter 2 weeks were spent in Bosnia, where we traveled to Sarajevo, Mostar, and Srebrenica. Here we focused on post-conflict rebuilding from a grassroots level. The things I remember from this trip are not necessarily the planned parts, but also the everyday experiences. For instance, in Sarajevo every day, well, like 3 to 5 times a day, I would sit with the owner of this Bosnian coffee shop, and he and I would drink coffee and share Turkish delights. There are some photos of me with my Bosnian coffee. Prior to the study abroad, Bosnia was never a country I thought about traveling to. Now, however, when someone asks me what I think of Croatia, which is commonly famed for its beauty across Eastern Europe, I say that Croatia is not my favorite place or the place I regard as being the most beautiful, but rather Bosnia. When I got home, I made my mom and I Bosnian coin necklaces. which now I wear every day. On top of the experiential learning, I also developed tight-knit connections with other students and our faculty professor, Dr. Weiler. Through this study abroad, I realized I wanted to design my own major, and Dr. Weiler is now my faculty advisor. Every week on Wednesday at 11 a.m., I go to his office and we chat about the world, my research, and our lives. In addition, the people I went with became my lifelong friends. I think something beautiful about study abroad is that it brings together students with similar majors, but have different social circles, and it bonds us by our shared passions. So, shifting from the faculty-led study abroad programs to the self-designed summer programs, UNC Honors Abroad offers 4 fellowships for the summer where students can independently design a project to carry out. For a brief synopsis, these fellowships include the Carolina Blue Fellowship, the Robinson Fellowship, the Arts Internship Fellowship, and the Birch Fellowship. The Carolina Blue Fellowship is specifically for a project relating to the business of international sports. The Robinson is for a project in Europe focused on humanities or social sciences. The Arts Internship funds unpaid art interns so students can pursue their artistic craft. And finally, the Birch is the ultimate Go Anywhere scholarship with no restrictions on the location, and students design a research project or complete an internship in a place that they are passionate about. This summer, I have the honor of being a Birch Fellow. UNC Study Abroad is incredible. It has many diverse options across continents to allow students to explore their interests. But if you have a specific project in mind, something you must explore, the Birch provides you the ability to design it. For parents, I'm sure the idea of your children going abroad independently for 6 weeks isn't the most comforting idea. At least for my mom, it is not. But I will say UNC Honors does an incredible job. It takes this responsibility very seriously. Honors balances students' travel goals with being cautious and mitigating the risks of travel. My project specifically for this summer is working at Erenga, which is an art and cultural promotion center where I will be working with local Rwandan women artisans. I will be spending 6 weeks in Kigali interning and then also traveling around Rwanda to study the politics of memory 30 years after the Rwandan genocide. Gina DeFino is the head of Honor Study Abroad. She works with students individually to ensure that they are well prepared and ready to take on this independent travel endeavor. She has been instrumental in guiding me in this application and process, and any student that is in honors and is trying to go abroad would speak the same. Honors Carolina not only provides the ability to gain nuanced perspectives, dive into deep conversations, and expand your intellectual curiosity, but to do this on a global scale. Most schools advocate for students to go abroad, but the prioritization and one-on-one support UNC Honors provides is unmatched. Honors Carolina works with each student, recognizing the different interests and passions of them to ensure study abroad will benefit all different types of students. Honors has staff that creates deep one-on-one connections to care not only for you when you are in Chapel Hill, but when you are across the globe in Europe, Asia, South America, or Rwanda. Thank you.
Darby, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your study abroad and honors experience. It's clear that experiential learning and study abroad it's essential for developing future leaders as it builds global awareness, cultural competency, and adaptability. And these experiences truly push our students out of their comfort zones, helping them grow personally and professionally. It's not just a study abroad experience, it's leadership in action. So Darby, thank you so much. All right, and our next student, we have Anurag, and if you will join us, we're excited to learn more about you and your experience with Honors Carolina. Go ahead
Thank you
and come
so
off. Yeah, you're welcome. Good. Hey.
Jake, next slide, please. There. All right, so hi everyone. My name is Anurag Sriram, and I'm a senior in Honors Carolina. I'm originally from Asheboro in North Carolina. So I major in biology and neuroscience, and today I'm going to talk to you about one of the most meaningful opportunities I've done in my undergrad, and that's completing a senior honors thesis. So the senior honors thesis represents the capstone of a student's undergraduate career. It is really the culmination of multiple years of original research and scholarly work. So the honors thesis, it's completed in your student's major, and it's done under the guidance of a faculty advisor. So there's two main components to the honors thesis. So you have a written thesis, which is being shown at the top, but then also you have a presentation in the form of an oral defense in front of professors. And so the key is to start preparing early. So the research, like I said, that comprises a senior honors thesis often begins 1 to 2 years before your child's senior year. So if your child is really interested in research or wanting to explore a topic really deeply, please encourage them to start seeking out these resources to develop a thesis very early in their undergraduate career. Right. So then a lot of you might be asking, why would my child want to invest this much time and energy into a thesis? What are the benefits of it? So I like to say that the process of writing a thesis, it enables you to deeply explore a topic that is meaningful to you. It is a critical period in your child's academic journey as they become an expert in their field of study. They develop reading, research, and writing skills. These are skills that are translatable to any career. But for some more tangible impacts, you get the distinction of graduating with honors or highest honors, and this is reflected on both your child's transcript and also at commencement. I also tell everyone that senior honors thesis provides a competitive advantage for any graduate or professional school applications. It often forms the basis of your child's first publication, and it becomes a primer and a significant component of that application. So, to complete your research, there are numerous opportunities for funding and advising provided by Honors Carolina. So, some of these research awards are listed below, which your students can apply for and receive monetary support for their research. So, now I'm going to warn you all, we're going to talk a little bit about science, but I hope this shows you a little bit of insight into, what exactly goes into a senior honors thesis and how do some of these projects look like. So, Alzheimer's disease is a neurodegenerative disease and the most common cause of dementia in the United States. It is a disease that has long intrigued me. So, it is characterized by two distinct protein clumps or aggregates. We have amyloid beta plaques, that's what's in brown, and then tau tangles, that's the black image. However, another key component of Alzheimer's pathology is this chronic neuroinflammation, so inflammation within the brain. And this can exacerbate the damage caused by both plaques and tangles. So we want to further study this neuroinflammation. And within the brain, it's coordinated by special cells called microglia. So microglia are literally the immune cells of your brain, and they play so many roles. So in response to that harmful amyloid beta exposure, they can become overly activated. And this causes them to release several molecules that promote inflammation. These molecules drive the death of neurons, but also some of the cognitive decline that's commonly associated with Alzheimer's disease. So I became interested in this genetic variant known as PLZG2P522R. I know it's a mouthful, but let's break it down. So this variant is only expressed by microglia in the brain and is associated with a slower rate of cognitive decline and less neurodegeneration. However, the precise mechanisms underlying that variant's protection against Alzheimer's remains unknown. So we have this protective variant, we want to further understand it. So my thesis focused on characterizing why is this P522R variant protective against Alzheimer's, and can we mimic that for current patients to give them therapeutic alleviation? So one of the pathways I studied in my project was that of the NLRP3 inflammasome. It's a protein complex in microglia that's activated in response to any infection or disease in the brain. It not only releases molecules that increase inflammation, but it also releases this one protein aggregate called the ASE spec. That's what's shown in green underneath the arrow. These specs can drive the formation of plaques within the brain. So we have this inflammasome that can not only drive harmful inflammation, but also the formation of these protein clumps that we don't want. So overall, my thesis investigated whether this P522R variant that's protective against Alzheimer's, whether that regulates the activation of the inflammasome in response to amyloid beta. So I'm going to show you some interesting data, and it's colorful, so I hope you enjoy it. But what you're looking at here, this is imaging data. So in green, that's a microglia, so the immune cells of your brain. Blue is the nucleus, so the central portion of that cell. And then red is a molecule called ASC. So I use specs as an indicator for inflammasome activation. So what I did was I have normal microglia on this top row of images, and then the T522R microglia on the bottom row. And any arrow indicates an ASE spec. So that spec is indicative of an inflammasome that's been activated. So if we go to the far right under the A beta treatment, just to the naked eye, it appears that in this genetic variant, there's less ASE specs. There's not as much red signal, which is indicative of perhaps lowered inflammasome activation. So this could be a potential protective mechanism for this variant in reducing both neuroinflammation and the propensity to form plaques. And I'm currently working on developing small molecule treatments to target this inflammasome for patients. So what have I gotten out of this thesis? So one thing is I've been able to attend numerous conferences across the country and present my work. This has not only enhanced my communication, but it has enabled me to network with leading professors and scientists in industry. These individuals actually serve as collaborators on my current project right now, but they also have served as advisors as I complete medical and graduate school applications. And again, Honors Carolina and the Office of Undergraduate Research have graciously supported both my travel to these conferences and also my actual research. So overall, my favorite aspect of completing a thesis is that it enabled me to bridge the material taught in classes to real-world application. And I think your children will appreciate that as well, being able to connect what they're learning to things that'll help them in their careers. As a result, I feel more confident and knowledgeable about the material in my field, and I can also appreciate the future landscape, research, and clinical treatment for these neurodegenerative diseases. So again, this thesis has provided me with valuable experience in developing a research idea, carrying it through, and communicating it to others. And the process of writing this has informed my future plans. I want to complete an MD PhD, and with my PhD, I want to major in neurobiology and actually further study these microglia in neurodegenerative conditions in brain cancer. So thank you all so much, and I really hope that I've convinced you to maybe convince your child to do a honors thesis. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. It's clear that a senior honors thesis and research experiences are powerful tools for developing our future leaders. It teaches our students how to ask big questions, to think critically, and solve complex problems, skills essential in any field. Working closely with faculty mentors builds confidence, communication skills, and intellectual independence. It's a deep transformative learning process that pushes our students to go beyond the classroom and contribute new knowledge to the world. So thank you so much. All right, our next student, we have Raven. Raven, thank you so much for being here with us today, and we're excited to learn more about your experience.
Yes, thank you for having me. So, hello everyone. My name is Raven Hayward, and I'm a junior here at UNC, majoring in business administration with minors in conflict management and data science. I'm incredibly grateful to be part of Honors Carolina and represent the Will Fellows program this evening. Today, I'm excited to take you through my journey of what brought me here to Carolina, from my earliest passions in high school to my upcoming senior year this fall at Carolina. So, starting off, before I ever stepped foot onto UNC's campus, I was already deeply invested in research, leadership, and service. I'm originally from Raleigh, North Carolina, and I grew up attending magnet schools. I could go in depth about my high school experiences, as you can see on my timeline on the screen, but I'll highlight the two main things that I wanted to talk about in my application my senior year to Carolina, which was founding my podcast, Diversify Her, and my internship. In the summer of July 2021, I started my podcast, Diversify Her, to highlight and amplify voices of women of color to talk about their journeys and uplift my listeners, centrally catered towards Gen Z. And currently, I have a little bit over 11,000 followers on Instagram. That summer, I also became the first high school student to intern with Dr. Damon Williams at the National Inclusive Excellence Leadership Academy, which is basically a D&I consulting firm that works with various institutions and companies, and they do a lot of different leadership trainings and research. I made the first call to secure the internship. He told me that no one had ever done that, but I just felt like it was important to do, and I wanted to have the experience. I was able to step into a world of inclusive research and strategy that continues to shape my aspirations today. With all of these experiences, it definitely made it clear that I wanted to choose a university experience that would challenge me, support me, and grow me into the global and ethical leader that I strive to be. And that's when I discovered Honors Carolina, and I knew it was where I belonged. So, moving on to my Carolina decision, choosing UNC and honors was one of the best decisions that I ever made. From the moment I was accepted, I was excited to make the most of every opportunity the program offered, such as the alumni events, the coaches, the fostered community, and networking opportunities. I was also fortunate to be an assured admit into Keenan Flagler Business School, which meant I could focus on building relationships and growing early on without the pressure of applying to the business school as a sophomore. And on top of that, I also knew I'd be cheering on the Carolina cheering team for Carolina. So it indeed was and seemed like the best case scenario. And I'm glad I made the decision. My freshman year was all about grounding myself and building community. So this meant going to as many events as possible, utilizing the coaching staff, and taking advantage of my scholarship network, where I was a Will Fellow Scholar within the Honors Carolina, which is a fellowship. I continued producing my podcast, and I was also able to now contribute to Following the Fellows, which is a podcast within the Will Fellows program. And in Honors Carolina, during your freshman and sophomore year, you're required to take certain courses. One of them is Honors 101, which is where we learned everything from networking to improving our LinkedIn. That class actually led me to my first LinkedIn post, and that was after I helped facilitate the first Black Woman in Business panel at Keenan Flagler, where I facilitated the panel discussion. And that moment really helped me feel seen, empowered, and connected. That summer, I took classes and traveled to San Francisco for a national scholarship summit. After returning, I was able to intern underneath Megan Kelly Gosk, who was the advisor of my Will Fellow Scholarship. She was also my professor for Honors 101, and I am now her TA in her Honors 201. And it's funny enough because Darby is one of the students that I now TA for, who you all heard speak earlier. Now, I would like to extend just a huge thank you to Megan for everything that she's done. She's truly seen me grow from my senior year in high school. And it's just so special to know that she, as long with the other staff within Honors Carolina, truly have my best interests at heart. So moving on to my sophomore year, it was a year full of growth and responsibility where I served as a TA for Honors 101 underneath Dr. Alfreda Clegg and kept both the podcasts going strong. Those roles taught me how important it is to give back through mentorship and representation, and I thoroughly enjoyed meeting and working with the students that I TA'd for because they were now under me. I was also able to interact with more of the freshman class. I was accepted into the Luther Hodges Scholarship Program and joined the Community Equity and Inclusion Board at Keenan Flagler. Being an Honors Carolina student, it really helped me unlock these experiences because I could speak confidently about the events that I had attended, the people I had met, and the curiosity that I had pursued. I had a coaching session with Megan actually my freshman year, and she was able to help me kind of outline the rest of my plan for my college career. I told her about the clubs I was interested in, basically what I wanted to pursue while I was in college, and also my plans after college. And she really helped just to foster those connections and help me build my network to what I have now. That year, I was also able to study abroad in South Africa, focusing on global leadership and cultural immersion. And I'm grateful for my scholarship within Honors that was able to grant me some of the funding for the trip. And I also interned with the Washington Institute for Business, Government, and Society, combining policy research and real world impact. Now that I'm in my junior year, I've continued exploring both the world and my own academic interest. I completed an AI governance certificate outside of UNC where I studied the ethical use of artificial intelligence and how it's shaping industries like finance and education. This past spring break, I was able to travel to the Netherlands through a GIE program, which is a global immersion elective within the business school. And studying sustainability and global positive change, I was able to use the funding again from my fellowship that I have within Honors. And like Darby had mentioned before in her talk, Honors Carolina truly does believe in the importance of gaining global knowledge and being able to travel abroad. And I'm fortunate enough that any travel experience that I had, as long as it was through a course at UNC, I was able to gain honors credit for it. So now into my future plans. This summer, I will be working with Visa Consulting and Analytics team in Atlanta, Georgia, which is a role where I'll be able to apply everything that I've learned thus far. Next year, I'll hopefully be diving into my honors senior thesis, and it's a full circle moment where I'll be able to bring together my passions for ethical leadership, innovation, and research into a meaningful capstone project, which is what I'm excited to pursue. So, to conclude, I want to take a note that none of this would be possible without the support that I've received from Honors Carolina, my mentors, and incredible community that I found at UNC, but most importantly, from my family, who I'm happy to say is watching along with everyone in the crowd tonight. My parents have been there for every milestone. They're the reason I'm able to believe in myself, and I owe so much of who I am to them. I know many of you on this Zoom are parents yourselves, and I just wanted to say thank you for your presence. It truly matters more than you know. Having your support really allows us to pursue our dreams boldly and unapologetically. It's so special whenever my parents or my loved ones are able to attend events like this and see everything that I've accomplished. So thank you for being here, cheering us on, and for being a part of our journeys. Most importantly, thank you again, Honors Carolina, for having me speak tonight and for helping me to become the young woman that I've always hoped to be. Thank you all so much for listening.
Oh my goodness, Raven. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. Honors Carolina truly does empower our students to grow as leaders through a powerful combination of research, service, and community. By engaging in hands-on learning, working alongside faculty, giving back, our students build the confidence, build skills and confidence, and build networks to lead with purpose. It's absolutely where ambition meets opportunity. So we're very grateful for you all. All right, if we could have all of our students join us back, we'll move on for the Q&A session. Hey, y'all. All right, and Hannah, come on back.
Sarah, while we're waiting for questions, I just
Yeah.
want to echo those sentiments. I think everyone who's with us tonight can understand while we tell our colleagues on campus that we have the very best jobs. I mean,
Yeah.
what a joy it is every day to spend time with these extraordinary students and their peers in the program.
Absolutely. Well, y'all can continue to ask your questions, and thanks, Jim, for answering those for us in the Q&A in the chat box. We've got some questions. So, one of our first questions, if you could go back to when you first joined Honors Carolina, what is something that you wish you knew then? Raven, do you want to kick us off?
Yes, I would love to. Something that I wish that I took more advantage of, and it's something that I highlighted a little bit in my speech, is just going to all of the events that Honors Carolina provides. We have a platform called Go Anywhere, and also on our Instagram page, they're always posting different events that they're having, whether it's enhancing your resume, doing interview skills, hearing from amazing alumni. I tapped into the network, but it was more in my sophomore year. I wish that my freshman year, I definitely would have taken advantage of the vast network that Honors Carolina has.
Great. Thank you. What else? Anyone else have something that they wish you knew?
I would
Hannah?
definitely agree with what Raven said. I touched on this a little bit when I was talking about the C-Start program. I wish I had kind of known about that earlier, because the classes are really super unique. I know Honorog's also teaching a C-Start this semester, and it's just they're really unique classes taught by students, so you get like a student's perspective on a topic that's super unique, something they're super passionate about. So I wish I had known about that sooner so that I could take some more of those classes. And I think also, I also started using the Go Anywhere platform my sophomore and junior year, really just when I felt like I was struggling with job searching and what I wanted to do post grad. So I think just getting involved in that sooner can never hurt.
Absolutely. Thank you. Anyone else before we move on to our next
Yeah,
question?
no. I'll just add one last thing. So, one thing that I wish I knew was, Honors Carolina has special advisors just for Honors Carolina students. So these are advisors who only see Honors Carolina students, and they're very knowledgeable about the specific study abroad options, how to do an honors thesis, how to enroll for specific honors courses and first year seminars. And so I wish I took better advantage of that my freshman year and also was more exposed to that then, because I think they really do provide an invaluable addition to the Honors Carolina experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So we do have some questions in the chat, and Jim, I'd like to direct some of these to you. One of the first questions, are honors students given an advisor to make sure that the student is on track with all requirements? Can you tell us more about the advisors and student requirements in the program, Jim?
Yeah, sure. So we have a team of 6 dedicated Honors Carolina academic advisors. They make contact with students in the summer before they arrive on campus and are with our students all the way through their 4 years, making sure that they're fulfilling the requirements and also supporting students and encouraging students to really engage all of the opportunities that are available at Carolina. And to connect various disciplines in ways that they might not imagine right out of the box. I think, for example, about the students in the program who are interested in majoring in chemistry or biology, will be going on to medical school. One of the really interesting programs they enjoy enrolling in is our Honors Carolina minor in medicine, literature, and culture, or medical humanities for short, which is all about bringing those disciplines to bear on questions of health and the relationships between physicians and patients. So there's that academic advising. In addition to that, we have a team of 8 full-time career and professional development coaches who are also with students from the summer before they enroll at Carolina, all the way through graduation, and in fact, beyond. Those coaches help students explore career opportunities and connect them out to those alumni on the Go Anywhere platform who have signed up to be mentors, to be advisors, to offer internship opportunities and job opportunities as well. So it really is wraparound support for both academic guidance and professional development.
Thanks, Jim. And a follow-up question to our advisors and coaches, given the size of our program, how accessible are our advisors and coaches?
Well, they are very accessible, and you've opened the door for me to boast a little bit.
Yes, please.
We received some amazing news last week. So the Go Anywhere digital platform that you've heard referenced a couple of times, we buy from a software company called People Grove, as in a grove of olive trees. They now have more than 700 four-year institutions across the country as clients. We learned a few days ago that Honors Carolina, and be mindful that I'm comparing a program with about 2,200 students with entire universities with 22,000 students. Honors Carolina has, of all those 700 plus institutions, the highest level of student alumni engagement. We have the highest level of student career coach engagement. And our career coach, Amanda Brumfield, who works with students interested in law and policy and government, is the most active career coach in the country. It is quite remarkable. The coaches, the 8 of them, if I have the figure right in my head this evening, are averaging about 120 consultations with students a week. So they are very busy and very, very much accessible.
Thank you for sharing that. And Jim, we had one more question. An attendee noticed that there was a lot of double majoring in some of our students who are speaking tonight. And they were curious about what that process looks like, and are there any specific requirements for students?
There are no requirements other than fulfilling the requirements of the 2 separate majors. At this point, it's probably 95% or more of our students who double major. One of the things I really love and admire about our students is the ways that they quite creatively double major. So you'll find lots of students in the program who are perhaps biology majors and are also majoring in English and comparative literature, or are classics majors and chemistry majors. And that speaks to the emphasis that Carolina as a university and Honors Carolina as a program, an emphasis we put on a strong, broad liberal arts foundation for each and every student. And in fact, there are only 2 research universities in the country at this time that still have that requirement and make that commitment to students. Um, one is UNC Chapel Hill, the other is Princeton.
Yeah, thank you. All right, switching gears a little bit, y'all. Let's talk about athletics and some fun activities at Carolina. So our attendees would love to know more about, obviously you're great students, but would they love to more about the other events and that kind of the athletic events and the fun things that you do across campus. So Raven, you want to kick us off, and then y'all please share.
Yes, I can speak. My freshman year, I was part of our Carolina cheerleading team, so I cheered both football and basketball season, and it was really cool to kind of see both sides of actually being on the field with the team versus being in the student section. We have such a huge athletic atmosphere here at UNC, as you know. We are home to Michael Jordan and many other great basketball players. We now have Bill Belichick as our head football coach. Our women's soccer team just won a national championship. So the atmosphere here is very big and it's such an amazing community. I will say that depending on the games that you go to, for the most part, they are free as long as you show your one card. And then we have a student lottery system for our men's basketball games and our football games as well.
Thanks, Raven. Who else?
I'm a huge Carolina sports fan. I will say I was not, born and bred a Tar Heel. Coming from out of state, everyone I knew had actually gone to Duke, but now my kids will be wearing Carolina blue. But so our commencement speaker this year is Mia Hamm, and I grew up playing soccer, so that was really exciting for me. Went to all the soccer games this year. They're free for students, like Raven had said. And I think with basketball and football, you get 2 tickets through the student lotteries. So that was always really nice. And I always had good luck with the basketball lotteries and football lotteries. And I think a lot of students give their tickets away if they can't go. So you definitely have great opportunities to attend all the UNC events. And I would say they're very popular. Sports is definitely something that brings the UNC community together. And really, as someone who came from out of state, not knowing much about the university, my roommates being huge Tar Heel fans was definitely super helpful for me learning about the school, the history, and really feeling part of the Carolina family.
Awesome. So more about kind of life on campus. Can y'all tell us a little bit about dorms and how y'all choose where to live? And we have an attendee whose daughter is thinking about Cobb, and would love to know more about kind of your community on campus.
I can start off with that. So I actually lived in Cobb my freshman year, so I can speak to this. So it was a great residence hall. So of course, a lot of the Honors Carolina students are housed there. My roommate, someone I knew, was also in Honors Carolina, and I think it was great. You get to meet a lot of your cohort, especially those from other majors, because within your honors classes, most of them are going to be students within your major, but one common denominator amongst all the Honors Carolina students, or most of them at least, were in Cobb, this one honors community. So it's a great space. They have great amenities. Like there's a movie theater room. There's great study lounges, beautiful pool table. So lots of things to do for free time. And then it's also close to several of the main campus buildings. So it's not a far walk to get to your classes. If you want to go to Franklin Street, it's like a 5 or 10 minute walk. So it really is a great community. There's so many other dorms within the vicinity that you can easily create community as well. So I would highly recommend it.
Thank you. Who else? Okay, Darby.
Sure. So I was not in Cobb last year. I was in Corey, which is on South Campus. it's a suite style. So you and your roommate, and then you share a bathroom, and then you have two other like suite mates. And then like if you're looking on South Campus, there's like two larger dorms like E House, Hojo, which are like regarded as the more social dorms. And then Corey and Horton are a little bit quieter. I didn't know that going in, but I still had an incredible experience. My roommate is my best friend in the whole world. But I think still like kind of building off like the last comment, not all students live, not all honor students live in Cobb. Like I wasn't there and I still feel very connected to the honors community. So I think you really can't go wrong.
Great. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. Darby, I'd love to ask you another question. How did you go about planning your independent study project and creating your in-person connections in Rwanda?
Um, so I've wanted to go to Rwanda for a long time now, and I kind of joke that like the reason I got the scholarship was like the study abroad office like just like wanted me like out of there. They just like that's why they gave it to me. But no, I was like originally I was really interested in going to Rwanda because of my like independent human rights major, and I was really interested in studying like post-conflict reconciliation there. But like I wanted to kind of like structure it around an internship. So I kind of just started cold turkeying like a lot of like different like NGOs in Rwanda, and I was really interested in art as a form of social change. So I sent a lot of emails and I got a response, and we ended up setting up a Zoom, and it ended up working out, and I structured my project around that internship. And the incredible thing about honors is that you're surrounded by a lot of students who are very passionate. And one of my friends who I actually met through Megan, who's an honors coach. She went to Rwanda 2 years ago, and she put me in contact with all of the people she stayed with, her friends. So I've been able to call some people that are in country now. I'm going to Tuesday night trivia nights. If you win, you get your dinner free, really exciting. And the person I'm staying with was recommended by my friend. So it's really nice. The great thing is like when you're kind of planning like a birch, like you have a community and like you're going independently, but there's like people supporting you along the way. So
That's wonderful. Thank you. And a follow-up questions about research. If someone wants to complete a senior honors thesis, what are some of the specific steps that they can take before their senior year to be prepared?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first thing is, identify your research interests. So I often tell people, don't just say like I'm interested in biology or history, really get a little more specific about what you might want to research, and then find faculty who are doing research in that field or tangentially related and reach out to them. So you'll have to reach out to maybe several different faculty members before you'll get one to agree to onboard you. So then you find a faculty member, you work with their lab or their group for some time. And then while you're doing that, try and identify, gaps in the field. What is it that we still don't know? What are some areas that are really interesting to you? What is some things that, um, that you could potentially see yourself researching extensively? And so then you can develop a proposal that you can show your faculty mentor, and you can refine it and then submit it to your department major for approval. So to kind of sum that all up, identify your research interests, find a faculty mentor who's doing similar research, and then, start drafting that proposal for what you might want to do. And that is the drafting the proposal really is the most time consuming part. I spent like essentially all of my sophomore year developing my research proposal and how I would go about testing that. So um, but again, if you work really closely with a faculty mentor, your Honors Carolina coaches, even some of your Honors Carolina professors, that process can become really easier. So that's what I would get done.
Thank you. Really appreciate you sharing that. Um, so a question for all of you. So how has being a part of Honors Carolina shaped the way that you think about your future, not just career-wise, but as a leader and a global citizen? Raven, do you want to kick us off?
Yes, I can get us started. Again, the main thing that they really emphasize within honors is trying to be as global as possible or really just diversify your way of thinking. I think even if I wasn't or didn't study abroad, I still would think about things from a very just wide perspective. I know that within my classes that I have, we always have different guest speakers, or we're always just having different learning opportunities to truly be well rounded as possible and to learn and soak up as much as we can. I know that Honors Carolina, it's really taught me to think more about global leadership. Growing up, I've always thought about servant leadership and the importance of giving back and, of course, leading by example, but to actually be surrounded by people who are like minded like myself, who are doing such amazing things, it truly is motivating. It never feels intimidating to hear what someone else in honors is doing because ultimately we know that, we all have our own paths. And at the end of the day, we were fortunate enough to be in Carolina and lucky enough to be accepted into Honors Carolina. So we truly did earn the spots that we have. And so I think just by having the different resources that we have, it's definitely given me an outlook just to be more positive and really take advantage of my network because there are definitely people and professors out there who want to see you succeed and want to help you in any way that they can.
Thank you, Raven. Anyone else?
One thing that Honors Carolina's really showed me, I think this is something Dean Laludis talked about in the beginning, but within each individual field of study, how interdisciplinary it is. And, I think that's really beautifully illuminated in your Honors Carolina classes. So you could be taking a biology class, but we would often at times discuss the public policy implications of the science being done. What are the ethical implications? What are some of the socioeconomic and economic ramifications to actually getting that research done? How would you like computationally model different things? So, there's so many different fields that end up kind of amalgamating into what you're going to be studying. And I think that's beautifully illustrated by all of the opportunities within Honors Carolina. And I think it makes you a global citizen because then, you graduate from Carolina not just well versed in your field of study, but you're prepared about knowledge so you can speak about other disciplines as well and really connect with so many different people. So definitely the cross-disciplinary nature of any field of study nowadays is very well epitomized by anything you do within Honors Carolina.
Thank you so much. All right, Jim, we're about at the close. I'd love to offer you an opportunity to kind of address some of our final questions or kind of summarize anything else you'd like our group here to know today before we wrap up.
Sure. I was trying to kind of look through the remaining questions. Did you see one? Did you look with me, Sarah, to see if you see anything that really stands out? We will try to answer all of these.
Yes, one of the questions was around kind of orientation and attending either the general session orientation or Honors Carolina
Right.
orientation and just around that.
Right, sure. Well, we would strongly encourage students if if it's their schedule to attend the set aside Honors Carolina session. I mean, the advantage there is that all of the programming will be focused on Honors Carolina. But it's not the end of the world if that doesn't work. We understand that individual students and families have complicated schedules. It is just fine to attend any of the other sessions, and we will have representation there. And people are of course, always welcome while they're on campus to drop by the office with questions they have and guidance they might need. So strong encouragement to come for the honors specific session, but as I say, it's just fine to attend one of the others.
And then we had a couple questions about pre-med, pre-law, and how this correlates with some honors opportunities.
So we have a lot of students who are pre-med, as you might imagine. They work very closely with Jennifer Cole, who is our healthcare coach. Jennifer has long, deep experience in supporting students all the way through from the time they arrive until the time they're applying for admission. She's a great strategist. Sometimes students, we often actually have the Dean of Admissions from the med schools at UNC and Duke come over. And I always love those sessions. They ask the students to raise their hands if they believe that it's necessary to major in biology or chemistry in order to get into medical school. Now, the honest students raise their hands, and those who know it's a trick question don't. And the answer we always hear from those representatives is that what med schools really want is to see students choose something they love and do extraordinarily well in it. So we have a lot of students, as I suggested earlier, who are maybe double majoring. They're doing classics and biology. And it's those kinds of combinations that actually make students stand out from the pack when it's time for admission to medical school. But you could make the same argument about other fields as well, law school, graduate school in one of the disciplines, and so on. So again, we want students to be really broadly prepared, whatever their trajectory.
Thanks, Jim. And if a student wasn't selected for honors program initially, is there an opportunity to join later?
There is. If the question is from parent family of a newly admitted student, there is a reconsideration process. I'll just give folks verbally my email address here. It's Leloudis, LELOUDIS@unc.edu. If you'll drop me a note, you can also find me on the Honors Carolina website. Be happy to steer students toward that process. A currently enrolled student who did not join Honors Carolina at the time of admission, there are opportunities to apply at the end of either or both the first semester or first year of study here at Carolina. And in those cases, we don't look back at high school records, but we're looking at a record of academic performance as a UNC student.
Thanks, Jim. Well, we really appreciate everyone being here with us tonight. We do have some questions we can follow up with folks one-on-one to make sure we get those questions answered. And Jake, let's go ahead and we'll keep going. And thank you so much. So, y'all, at UNC through Honors Carolina, we offer more than just a degree. Our small classes and award-winning faculty ensure academic excellence and personalized learning. We're global leaders in study abroad, offering courses and internships and research opportunities around the world. Through our Go Anywhere platform, students receive one-on-one support from our academic advisors, career coaches, and mentors. And from day one, they really are part of a welcoming, tight-knit community that supports them and inspires them every step of the way. Honors Carolina alumni and families like you are vital to our students' success. Your support helps us deliver world-class education and reinforces Carolina's position as a top-notch research university. The Go Anywhere platform allows us to mentor students and share career opportunities, connecting with our network of members. You can stay informed through our monthly newsletter, and Jake, if we'll advance, and you can follow us on social media for more family-focused updates and ways to stay engaged. We do have a parents newsletter, so you'll be getting that, and you'll get to know all of the amazing opportunities that are available to your students. Together, we help students come here and go anywhere. So thank you all so much for joining us today and for being such an important part of the Honors Carolina community. We hope that you leave inspired by our students, our academic excellence, global opportunities, and the incredible support system that define our program. Together, we're helping our students come here and go anywhere, and we look forward to all that we'll accomplish together. Thank you all so much, and go Heels.